All right, so apparently we're doing this. But before I get started, first of all, it's been a long time because I have been overwhelmed with everything. And sadly, um, this today is going to be a very hard one for me to do. But at this point, I have no choice. And I just want to say to you all who know who you are, because we're about to hear that played a part in it. Make sure you pat yourself on the back for this because you did this, not me. So let me really quickly give a disclaimer. Sister Snap does not like to air out dirty laundry. Sister Snap is not a person that throws her sisters under the bus out in public. I might talk my shit amongst my sisters, with my sisters, about my sisters, whatever, behind closed doors, because that's what I've always advocated for. I've always stated I'm about is fixing each other's crown behind closed doors. Through this process, I've learned that everybody's crown can't be fixed because some sisters, some people for that matter, but particularly in this instance, some sisters are too set in their ways and have created this narrative in their head with the way that they are living their life or the things that they do is perfectly fine. So they move without a certain compass. I'll say it that way, a certain compass that I would not move with. So with that being said, let me give this other disclaimer is I am going to go ahead and speak the truth exactly of the facts and show you the facts as it pertains to the HC fundraiser. I am not here to slander anybody. I am not here to attack anybody. Even though I have been walked, as I say, the dogs on, I'm still going to take the high road because at the end of the day, I keep my word as much as I can about being my sister's keeper, even when they're not my keeper. So this podcast, this session today is merely solely to show the evidence. That is it. I'm not here to answer questions for people that want my opinion about what I feel about how Angie's doing this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I am so far beyond all of this shit, to be honest. But I have to make sure my name stays clear. So let's just jump right into it. And we're going to start off and we're going to walk this thing down per person. And I'm not going to say whom, et cetera. But you'll see as it comes because it's just so much and I'm still processing. But we're here. We're here, sadly. So for all of you that have been walking the dogs on my name on TikTok, saying that I'm the culprit, that I'm the reason behind the argument between Sabrian and Amisha, you all are freaking crazy if that's what you think. And if you need somebody for whatever reasons, and I'm baffled, why me of all people? Because I wanted to tell the truth, make sure my name to my sisters behind closed doors. Nothing I brought out on the public to social media. You all did that shit. I kept conversations behind closed doors, which is how it should have been. But let's take a listen to where we are now and let's get into it and let's try and make this short and sweet, quick and fast so I can get the freak back to my life and get back to my well being and let you all stay rolling around doing what you do.
Brian to ask Amicia for receipts because of what Snap has said to Beth. And then that's where it all transpired. So when Snap said she's pulling herself out of it and she's not getting involved and she doesn't want to, we just heard the voice notes. You know why you pulled yourself out? Like, you know why, but you tried to come for me. Like, you tried to attack me when Beth is sending your voice notes to every Tom, Dick, and Harry till I'm getting tagged in it on TikTok.
It's fucking what the.
So basically, everything that the way I'm looking on it is everything that transpired. The voice notes Angie released yesterday, the argument with Sir Brian and the husband. They're talking about ask Alana for a receipt. You know the problem is Alana. Why would she be asking for receipts all of a sudden? We just heard it. Because Snap went and put the spanner in the works because Alana stayed with her and went and chat her business to everybody. And
Now, you all just heard London Star instigate and boldface lie and say that I created the conflict between Sabrian and Amisha, because she's claiming that I went and chatted Alana's business to everybody. Let's make sure we're very intentional with our words and what we're repeating for evidence purposes and fact purposes. She said I went and chatted Alana's business to everybody. And that's why Miss Camille, Miss AKA Angie, was asking for the receipts when that is something so far from the fucking truth. Now, remember, Jeanette, aka London Star, just made it seem as though she didn't know and that I had only spoken to Bethel. So, for a little context in the back for those of you that are not aware, as it pertains to this current climate with receipts from the HC refund fundraiser, anything else outside of that, I'm not addressing, but things came up that I was privy to because of Angie and because of Alana, and me in the middle is looking like this is fucking asinine. And because it's asinine and I know certain things, and I've been a comment catcher since May, I did what the comment catchers always do is I came to our WhatsApp group and I had a conversation with Beth O and with Shanette, and I let them know, okay, look, this is what's going on right now as it pertains to the HC fundraiser. This is et cetera, et cetera. I'm keeping you all in a loop. I've sent rather Beth O the receipts so that if anything comes up at a later time and things are not accounted for, nobody can say that Snap stole money. And this is the question that I'm going to pose at all of you, feet, every single one of you that's run my name through the mud. And even those that may not have, and just really at this point is like me, all this shit is crazy. Let me just sit back, take a breath, and just listen and see how this shit pans out. Because that's really where I am now. I don't want to be involved in any of it because it's reckless and it's a lot of discrepancies. A lot of discrepancies. And I'm not charging that to Amisha or Sabrian. I'm talking about to all of the other outside family member parties. So, Shanette London Star, you knew about the voice notes because you know why? Let me show the people why you knew about the voice notes, because when I came to you all to educate you all, because it's been some time about the money and nothing was really moving, and two people that donated, and because I am loyal and I don't throw people, or as you all say, dox people, I didn't throw these people on the bus and say, hey, these people want their money. I literally came to you all, Shanette London Star and Beth O, to let you know, like, hey, this is what's going on with the money thus far, et cetera, et cetera. What do you all think? I came to you all as sisters, and Shanette London Star, I'm talking to you. You threw me under the bus and tried to, I don't know what the fuck you was thinking, save yourself. So let me show the people here, and I'm going to read this out loud so that they can hopefully see it. But this is Beth O. This is our group chat. If you look up to the top, people, you'll see it says peace of mind. This was a separate WhatsApp group chat for just Beth O, London Star, and Sister Snap, away from the group chat, because the group chat became overwhelming with a lot of white noise that a lot of times had nothing to do with bringing awareness about Haley Comet. It just was too much. And for me as a grown woman, even for Shanette, you London Star at times was like, I'm checking out of I'm not checking messages because it's too much. So this here says she's so bad for this. And Liz O is saying, and we'll open her dirty deceit, because Bethel was upset at that time. She got emotional. I wasn't expecting for her to be that emotional, but she did. So this is just showing you all that this is the peace of mind transaction. You all just read, then this is a backdrop where Shanette's saying she's so bad for this. Okay. Now, this transaction here, this is after we've kind of had a little bit of banter, like, oh my God, this is bad, this is crazy. This is three sisters having a conversation. And you see Shanette saying, right, it's principle. And then you see me saying, same way here. Like, I'll be sitting out your front door every morning waiting for it till I get it back. Like for real, for real. I don't play about my money. Now, just so you all are clear, this was just like being jovial at this point. We've had our conversation about, what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. And this is something that Shanette said. You, London Star, you said in this transmission.
The other day, the guy tried to, I had to run him down for my money. Where's my money? Like,
Sorry about that, folks. Y'all know I'm still kind of learning this process. Hold, hang tight with me. Let me remove it and I'll bring it back up and see if that makes a difference.
you should ask her shortly when. Shortly when. Listen, one thing I don't play about when people have money for me, like the catering job I done the other day, the guy tried to, I had to run him down for my money. Where's my money? Like, what? Tell me what time, tell me when, tell me the day. Like, when am I getting my money?
Let me play it again just for those in the back that didn't hear London Star in our three-way group chat with me, her, and Beth O. After things started to come up and surface with people questioning about the money that was donated and that I transferred to Alana. And I was caught between a rock and a hard place because I still wanted to protect Alana, but be honest with these people that donated their money. And I'm the face of this donation fundraiser. So what do? I went to what I thought was my sisters to seek counsel. And this is what one of Shanette's response was.
You should ask her shortly when. Shortly when. Listen, one thing I don't play about when people have money for me, like the catering job I done the other day, the guy tried to, I had to run him down for my money. Where's my money? Like, what? Tell me what time, tell me when, tell me the day. Like, when am I getting my money?
So remember, Shanette, we just heard her say that I was the culprit in creating this whole mix up with Sabrian and Amisha, and I wasn't. Camille called me, and we all have heard Camille. So those of us that have heard Angie, aka Camille, aka Angie, whatever, we know her demeanor. We know how she is. And when she called me out of the blue with Beth O on the phone, saying all of these other things that I was not privy to, but she's spewing out all this information about other missing money. Amisha's upset. Like it was a fucking lot. And on top of that, she's talking about subpoenas and lawyers. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be involved in subpoenas to lawyers and so forth, but she wasn't attacking me. She was more so focused on Alana, but she's like, snap, okay, when was this? When was this? When was this? And let's not forget, this has been the spokesperson for Amisha and Sabrian for a minute now. And I have always stated I thought that Angie could handle herself with a little more poise, is the way that I'll say it, and not be so verbose. But I've always said justice for Adriana Young and her family. So I personally would never attack Angie or Alana because at the end of the day, they're family. I'm only a person on social media that wanted to advocate for the life of this baby and talk about the injustices that was done to Adriana on the 23rd through the 24th. Okay. And through that avocation came, all of this other stuff. And behind closed doors, let me also be very clear about something. Behind closed doors, I've had Alana number for a long time. And in the very beginning, I I messaged Alana on WhatsApp to say, peace, sis. And I have the records. Peace, sis. I just want you to know that we are for you all in the family. You don't have to respond back. I'm not trying to be friends with you. It's none of that. I just want you to know that we got you in the family. All of these people that are attacking you all, HC, et cetera, at this point, the comment catchers have you all. And that's how our sistership, so I thought, was forged. because I let her know that we got you all and we're going to fight for justice for Adriana, and we're going to try and do our best to bring awareness about the all of the things with HC. So I think it was important to mention that. So now we're going to continue to walk along this path and talk about the evidence and the facts. So one thing we just debunked is that London Star made it seem like I was in this by myself and Betho and so forth. And so no, all three of us knew about it. So let's be very clear. When things didn't go like it was supposed to go behind closed doors, and I'm like, okay, well, Alana, whatever, whatever with Alana. And Alana, you need to be honest. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because you'll let me be on the chopping block when you and I both know the truth. So there are going to be some questions that I'm going to place at the people's feet and your feet here, because I'm still doing my best to not completely Range Rover you, because I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I just don't want my name to be slandered, and you're okay with it, Alana. And like we talked Friday, right? We just talked Friday when you was on the way to the game. One of the things that I think is important for the people to know is, I know when we spoke Friday because you were upset, like, oh, snap, none of this. Well, here's the reality. Here's the reality. Sisterhood can only go so far, right? When you're dealing with a family that's having money issues or whatever, all of this white noise that Camille brought to my feet that I wanted no part in, now I'm forced to have to show receipts where you as well have to show certain receipts. I was a part of that conversation. We're going to get into that. But why not just tell the truth and be like, you know something in life? Humility is a beautiful thing. A lot of times we walk in our ego and we're so afraid to be embarrassed about our truths. None of us are perfect out here in this world. I've had to apologize for things or say, yo, I fucked up here. Or no, I didn't do right here. That is how we grow and we develop. So until ones and ones can do that, you all of you for that matter, you all are going to continue to be stagnant in this chaotic whirlwind that I'm seeing in front of me. So again, we'll get into more later, but now I'm looking to this camera and saying, Alana, be honest. You rather throw me under the bus because you're upset because I went to Shanette and Beth and let them know what was really happening? Because remember, before you came into the picture, me and those ladies in that group had been together for months. And we bonded and I thought, forged a community where we said we would do no harm. And I guess London Star, Ina, and all the rest of you that was up in the panel, I won't even say the rest of your name and the rest in Beth, or all of you. I guess you all forgot the oath that we took. See, I didn't forget. You all remember when we sat on a call one day? And I said, let's make a vow to each other that we would always fight for each other. We would never do any harm. And we would always be loyal to each other and honest. I didn't forget that. Clearly, you all forgot that. You all forgot that. So we've debunked that. Shanette made it seem like, oh, it was snap. No, we all knew. I came to you all for advice, right? Now let's just take a little bit more of a listen because Alana knows the truth, but this is anyway, just take a listen.
Asking for receipts about my private. Like she literally wanted. This is exactly what she said. Oh, the attorney needs your transaction from the time your Zelle was opened. I was like, from the time my Zelle was open, and I'm like, wait, my Zelle was open years ago. So what do you mean he wants? She was like, oh well, if you don't, and I was like, if I don't what? Like, lady, first of all, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. And you're calling me with two other people on the phone that's not family. Yeah. And then you're trying to intimidate and then trying to like project something that I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna give it to you. No. And for those that are still questioning the GoFundMe, that's very transparent. That's public information. So if my cousin had an issue with this, she'd have been like, yo, Alana, it says you collected this, but I only got that. Correct. So there's receipts for that. And there's also receipts of all transactions that was sent to my Zelle for Adriana. Like I have that. directly from the bank. And that's what I told her. I'm not screenshotting you anything because I don't want you to come back and say that I alternate or I falsified documentation, because that's what she was charged with. Falsified documentation to fraud people out of money. And we're not talking thousands. We're talking, like she said, she was a billionaire. That's true. She was a billionaire because it was fake money that she got caught with money laundering and falsified documentation to thief people's money to buy your houses and your apartments and your this and your that, which you no longer have because it was recovered April 9th of 2025, and it's documented in your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So when you want to talk, like, literally come with facts, lady, because if not, sit down. Because you just matcha, and you in the and then that don't look good for you. That's all she's doing. That's all she's doing. Like, it's just enough is enough. Like, and that's the thing. She was like, "Oh, well, you opened up the GoFundMe. You opened up the Zelle for Adrian." No, I didn't. My Zelle is a personal. I've always had that. It's not like, and that's how dumb she is. I tried to explain that to her, and she still couldn't understand it. I said, I can send you the transactions from the money that was sent, but not my entire from when it was open. She was like, "Oh, well, you have to, or the you can do it this way, or I'm gonna let my attorney, not my cousin's attorney, but I'm gonna let my attorney subpoena you." Wow. And I said, "Well, okay, so what is this for exactly?" She was like, "Well, he needs all the money that was donated for Adriana." And I was like, "Okay, but the money that was recently collected was not for an Adriana GoFundMe. It was money to pay back Haley." Correct. Haley, not Ailey. Haley, Angie. It's an H. It's an H.
Now, we just heard that conversation, and this is where a lot of this is a part of, again, where we're going to be talking the facts and the evidence. So yes, I was a part of that conversation. That conversation that Alana's talking about, it took place on the 21st of August. It was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 8:30 ish. I have it. You'll see the screenshot in a moment. And so a lot of what Alana is saying is true, that it is true. And it was fucking crazy, that conversation, to a certain level, because a part of it, I thought I did need to be there because we were supposed to be, rather, I thought, speaking specifically about the HC refund fundraiser. But again, anybody that has listened to Angie come on platforms, we all know how verbose Angie can be. And so, yeah, pretty much everything Alana just said was true. And with that being stated, I had been called prior to that, right, and asked about this money, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, well, Alana has the receipts. And that's really it. Like, I sent everything to Betho. I sent it to Alana. Now that you all are talking about getting a solicitor in UK and that you want to use that money, and since the goal was not met to meet, or rather the goal wasn't met for the 5,900 to give back to Haley Common HC, apparently, I guess, so I thought, per Angie, because I never spoke to Sabrina or Misha about this. It was only Angie that I spoke with when she would call and inquire about things or tell me about things, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is no attack towards her at all, towards any of them. This is just stating the facts and showing the evidence so that my name hopefully can stop being slandered in the winds. So I never spoke to Sabrina or Misha at that point. So I'm under the impression that Amisha and Sabrian and Angie, those three that are under the roof, are in unison or in collaboration with wanting to know exactly where everything is going. So again, I'll put the question at any of you all's feet. What would you have done? What would you have done? Would you have given the receipts and said, okay, this is what was sent to Alana, and this is when it was sent, and y'all need to take that up with her? That's just that. Beth O sharing a lot of these things that I shared with her and Shanette, it's hurtful. I don't care the way that it was done. But what I'm learning is people at the end of the day is something called self-preservation that some people take to the extreme, and that can be by any means necessary. And they don't consider the consequences and the repercussions of how it can affect others. And became on the fence about all of that because that was a big part of all being a part of all of this and hearing and seeing how things are being done to where Snap started to even more so. I had already begun to think these things like it's too much. But the starting during this time was starting to say, okay, you know what? This is too much. So Alana was factual about the things that Miss Camille, Miss Angie said on that phone call. And I was too, we were under the impression like, oh, okay, so this is something that Amisha, Sabrian, they're requesting. This is the impression that I was under at that phone call. And things were discussed. And to Alana's point, there were things that were discussed that I'm like, I could just leave the call now because I don't really need to be here. This is and I could imagine how it felt for Alana, like sincerely. But at that time, and because of the things that I was told prior to that, I was starting to question the validity of some things on that side. And I could be wrong for that because I sat with that. That's why I said I've been quiet because I've been sitting and trying to reflect and process and sift through what is the real and what's the bullshit. Because it's a lot of bullshit on both sides I'm hearing and seeing, and I don't want to be a part of it. So after that conversation, which was it became intense, and Alana was very matter of fact about, I can do this or I can't do that or I'm not doing this or that, it was a back and forth. And I sat quietly. Betho would chime in a little more than me because at that point I'm just quiet. I'm just trying. I just wanted to give the facts that pertain to me, helping to bring awareness about HC and what all money went to Alana and what all money came to me. And we'll get into that as well. So by the end of that phone call, I was exhausted. It was like 10 o'clock that night. Alana and I spoke after that, and I'm like, that was a lot. She's like, she felt away because she felt, ambushed, and I could get it. So that could have been why Alana was more defensive, is the way that I put it. And I would understand that too. But at the end of the day, accountability needed to be had. But now, in retrospect, in hindsight, I do see that, and I'm feeling because I haven't spoken to Angie or Beth, I haven't spoken to them in a minute since all of this happened because I just needed to take a beat back. Because then I'm starting to wonder, wait, did Amisha and Sabrian really was there ever really an attorney? Like, what's going on here? Did you truly, who really wanted these receipts? Is what I'm starting to think now after having these suspicious thoughts on this side over here. Is the way that I'll put it. And I would hope and pray that Alana will be honest because I left her a voice message, a lovely voice message saying, sis, I'm gonna take a minute back. This is too much, etc., etc. And we'll get into that in a moment. So, it became a lot. So, me providing receipts for accountability, checks and balances, AP accounting purposes, there's nothing wrong with that because if all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted, there's no gray area about that. And whatever might have happened on the other side, I still didn't pass judgment because at the end of the day, this is family stuff. I was just there to help. How can I be of service? Now, let me give you all a backdrop, right? How I even came to be the face to bring up the awareness about giving this money back was Sabrian went on a live one day and he was brokenhearted. And it's in our chat. And it was sent in the chat. I was like, did you see this chat did you see the live with Sabrian, et cetera, et cetera? And we're all like, yeah, we're fucked up about it. Like we're really messed up about it. He's like, whatever he gonna do, he said, some way before I close my eyes, Haley, I gotta get you this money back. Alana and I come to a conversation because during that time we would converse periodically. And I'm like, well, sis, How you feeling? What are you thinking? She's upset. She's in tears. She's saying how I just want to, we're both upset about what Haley Comet is doing to this family. And Alana says, I want to raise the money. I want to get them this money. And I'm going to quote to you the conversation verbatim. And she was like, because this is too much. This is too much. I really want to give this bitch back her money. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you. But, so what are you thinking? I quote, she says, I just really want to get her back the money. I want to raise this money. It could be like a gift. It could be a gift. I want to do this for my cousin. I want to do this for Sir Brian. It could be like a wedding gift. And I quote me. I said, okay, yes, I see your points. Yeah, okay. Are you sure? She says, yes. I said, okay, well, how can I help? And that's when we had the conversation about like, okay, well, maybe we can do a post, maybe we can do this, da, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So after I realized what she wanted, I said, okay, say less. I can use my voice and how I deliver to do a post and bring awareness about what's happened, et cetera, et cetera. Now, before we finished that call, I said to Alana, and I said this to you. I said, sis, let me put this at your feet. And I just want to put this at your feet. Are you sure? Are you sure? And before you respond, let me say why. We both know that if this money is raised, that there is a high probability that HC may not give it back to the people. And we said some other things. And for those of us that know, we said they understand what we said she would probably do with the money. Alana and I quote say, I don't care, sis. I don't care. I just want to give her this money back. I know I don't, as long as we give her this money back, we can do it publicly. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, all right. So I'll take the rings and I'll make the post. So that is how the SNAP ministry got into helping to serve as a liaison about raising this money. When I made the post, I gave people options to say, hey, if you want to, donate to this cause, inbox me. And when you inbox me, I'll let you know how Alana Trotz is taking her payments because she was only able to receive it via Zelle and via Apple Pay because she says Alana says she doesn't have a PayPal. So that's fine. So those were the options that I would give people, but I wanted to suss out and vet people to make sure it wasn't people that were coming in and just wanted her phone number. So that is why we set it up. I set it up that way to try and bury her, protect her from people that was going to come and try and use her information to attack her. So there were a few people during this time of fundraising that either didn't have a Zelle or it had Apple Pay, but they were in the UK. And I learned through this experience is that you can't send Apple Pay across country. You can only do it within country. So for those who were not able to use Zelle or Apple Pay, I went to Alana and I asked Alana, okay, so how do you want to handle this? There's some people that have PayPal. I say, I have PayPal, but I don't really want to do, I don't want no money. I wanted to go to you, but just to, for what do you want? Are you okay if I, and she said, yeah, I'm okay if you take the PayPal. All right. So a few people on one hand donated via PayPal. And the very first donation that I got via PayPal of $100, I sent it to Alana. I believe it was on the 2nd of August or something like that. And when I sent it to her and screenshot who it came from and, et cetera, et cetera, she said, don't worry about every time somebody sends you something via PayPal, just hold tight to it. And when we raise all the money, whatever on your end, send it to me. So that's how that went. So fast forwarding to the receipts. When I get the call from Camille that night and it was crazy, I'm like, okay, all the money has now been sent except for $45.61 because during that time we were on the TikTok. Apparently when you send those gifts like the guns and the heart me's and all that crap, I didn't realize I had it set up to my PayPal, which is interesting, but whatever. So I got hit with Apple service fees. So I needed to transfer money from out of my personal bank account to make up for that 45.61 were fees that hit. So I sent Alana over the money um, from the PayPal, which was $217 and some change on, I can't see that. August the 16th. So August the 16th, we all see 217.96 was sent to Alana. And this was that first payment that I told you all about of 100. All right. So again, this is just for documentation purposes. So there's no gray area um, about that. Now, throughout this time with the money and Alana being apprehensive of sending things, which is fine. That's between her, Angie, the family, whatever. That have nothing to do with me. At the end of the day, people are now starting to question me. Hey, where's my money? Or is Alana going to give me the money back? Bethel gets in an uproar about it. Because she's like, I want the money to go where it should go. It shouldn't just be sitting idly, or Alana shouldn't have whatever she's done with whatever the case may have you. Because again, I'm not here to throw her under the bus. I'm just here to say that the money wasn't going back at that time to Sobrian to give back to HC, and people wanted their money back. Some people, not all people. So here we are now with London making it seem like she didn't know, London making it seem like I instigated it. But at the end of the day, I can't do but ask this question a million times. What would you all have done if a family member who's been representing Amisha and Sabrian comes to you and say, hey, we need to have make sure all of this is Alana has done this. There's missing money here, 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 and here. And at this point, we need to have an account for everything, including whatever it was fundraised between you and she for HC. Am I wrong for doing the right thing and being honest? Like, hey, that I can't speak for the money I gave it to Lana. Lana, she did whatever, whatever. That's y'all got it. Y'all need to talk about that. So don't be mad at me because I told the truth to people behind closed doors, not bringing anything out in the public because that's none of y'all that's nobody's business what was going on behind closed doors. Hence why I sent this beautiful message to people about, the money, like, hey, we didn't meet our quota. This is what the family is considering doing. Although I knew the truth behind closed doors, but I gave people an option. I did that on behalf of Alana. Alana didn't even go and represent herself or her family. This was me doing that, putting in all of this work to be bashed, to be bashed. So here is something that I think is important for you all to see, and it shows August the 27th. Now, mind you, this is after I've been on that call when Alana was asked about how much money was raised for HC's fund. And this is why Beth O wanted Sister Snap to. I hope Snap comes out because I heard things on that phone call that was like, oh, that's, and again, I'm going to keep that behind closed doors. I'll leave that to Alana to speak the truth. When the numbers was asked how much was raised and the number that was given wasn't, and again, I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. I don't want to throw her under the bus. Shanette, Beth, oh, you all have to blame for me having to defend myself because I wouldn't do this. And it's killing me. My stomach is in knots having to do this. But please read this. It says, Grant, and this is to the comment catchers you all see. And everybody's left the group except for me and Morley's, which because I've really didn't have time to think about leaving a damn group. It says here, Grand Rising all, please take a moment to review the copied and pasted message that I've sent out to all parties on TikTok that donated to the HC fundraiser. I evoke all receives this with an open heart and sound mind as I will be gracefully quieting my voice as it pertains to the case and only advocating in quiet solitude so that I may protect my mental health. I am still with you all in the fight, but only now as a more silent voice. I evoke you all are well, and I will be working quietly this week and will touch base when I can. Infinite night and love. Now, if you notice all of this right up here is blacked out, it's blacked out because that's the message, the long, detailed message that I sent to every person that donated to the HC refund fundraiser. And it was very graceful. I didn't throw Alana under the bus. I didn't mention anything about anything that I've heard behind closed doors. I just gave them some very diplomatic and bureaucratic input, right? So now let's go back and let's take a listen at a few things. And actually, we'll we'll get to it.
The night she called me asking for receipts about my private, like she literally wanted. This is exactly
Sorry, wrong one. We heard that
Sunday
one.
evening, Monday, and then Tuesday morning, I was back on a flight with my son. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to, actually, my son is here. But I refused to get my kid involved because he was there with me. Angie's got Haley laughing at this family now. We're laughing at Haley's family right now because she's got a racist child. Yeah, her child talks about death non-stop and unaliving people. She sniffs on camera. So we're laughing at her family right now. We saw news articles with her baby father who smashed a biscuit tin, and there was a whole police squad outside there. So yeah, tell her to dance a yard before she dances abroad, because she needs to look in her own household before she starts laughing at anybody else's. Yep. Like, that's vile to have your own family and to laugh and mock others and put others down. Yep. Like, that's so vile. And that's the world we live in, unfortunately. It's not about uplifting and helping and supporting. Or at least the ones that come in like that and then turn on you, as you guys see. So, I mean, London, I told you from the beginning, I had trust issues when we first started talking, right? Yeah. So even going to Sister Snap was a major trust. Mm-hmm. And I've disclosed to you my thoughts of her and her place and how welcoming and, she was loving and caring. And then to hear all this other stuff, because I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, we bonded. I went against my hesitation after months of this person saying, "Oh, I want to take you out. I want to, love on you. I want to just give you a hug." All this other stuff, and then that's the sad part. To hear this, so yeah, it does not make room for other people in my life. Yeah. Like, new people, no, I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah. Like, I'm really, really, and I mean no harm by it. Don't blame you. Can you imagine how Sabrian and Amicia feels? Bloody hell. Like, they ain't gonna trust their, like, nobody. Just like you. Can't blame you at all. No, I don't. And like, my few friends that they're like, what, because they're not in social media like that. They're like, wait, what's going on? So when I tell them this, they're like, wait, what? Yeah. Because even my girlfriend, she's like, why are you even listening to it? Friday, I was with her at the football game. She's like, why are you even listening to it? Why even looking at it? Why are people even sending it to you? Like, we know who you are. We deal with you on a regular. These people don't know you from a hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. Because if something happens to me or I'm sick, these people won't come take care of me. You won't come bring me a cup of tea. Exactly. So, like, anybody else, I really don't care who jumps on the Angie bandwagon. But for Angie, like, come on. Like, enough is enough. Like, lady, I don't hate you. I feel sorry for you. I pray for you. Like,
All right. So let's unpack and let's assess that. So, first and foremost, I really want people to pay attention to Shanette London Star throughout this whole process. And this is a question that I'm going to pose to London Star, since now I see that I can't have conversations with you all behind closed doors to try to have mature and mature conversations that's about resolution and understanding and clearing of energy and miscommunications, or however you all want to categorize that. My question to you as London Star is why? Why? Why now? Why are you, what made you decide to, and it's a rhetorical question, because at this point I really don't care. I don't care. I truly don't care. But it is hurtful after months since May. But then again, now I realize, now that I'm not, sometimes you're too close to the trees where you can't see the forest, and I'm not so close, which is why I've been quiet and stepping back and just assessing everything, because since the beginning I've been right in the nucleus of it. So now it's time to step back and assess and process and really, have some deductive reason on everything so that I can think clearly. I can be quiet. I can let all the white noise around me fade away. You've been doing this for a minute, London Star. London Star, you like the drama TikTok. And I think about some of the conversations that we've had. I've been thinking about the conversations where you're like, oh snap, I don't care. I'll go over to them and I've argued with them and yo, they drug my name and yo, I used to be debating and arguing people. And I'm like, okay, you know what, snap, you didn't realize you're okay with this stuff, London Star. You're okay being on lives every day in something. And I've watched you all quietly, as you said, I watch quietly how you go from one conversation to the next, just whatever. You're on this person's live, you're on that person's live, just bouncing all around. When I was on those lives with you all, it was focused on HC, and then those other people on the other side that supported HC, and we know what that was about. But at this point, I don't know if any of you will tell the truth, so I can't even expect for you all to be like, yeah, that's correct, snap, because we see now that you'll throw anybody under the bus when you know the truth, and it's horrific, it's horrendous. Now, with that being stated, we hear Shanette like, oh, now it's the Shanette show, and oh, I'm here for you, Alana, but you knew the truth behind closed doors, so you're okay with what happened with the money thing. You're okay with that when it was if it would have been your money that you said, oh, I don't play about my money. I'll run him down. Where's my money? Where's my money? Well, I had people asking me that question. And when I went to, and going to Alana and I knowing the truth, I'm like, well, at this, you got to figure something out, you got to figure it out. And what I've been hearing, Alana, it's okay. But it's okay to say that I'm not okay. Or it's okay to be like, hey, this, that, and the other. And I'm still doing my best to try not to divulge everything because at the end of the day, this just a part of my makeup. I'm still my sister's keeper. So with that being stated, she said, Alana speaking about, sisterhood, but I want you all to take a look at this picture right here. This is Alana and I. So because of what she stated about, oh, and this woman, she's been like, oh, I want to love up on you. I want to, first of all, let's be very clear. I say that to everybody. Like, when I see people in pain, because I am a holistic practitioner, I am a person that heals people on the regular. And what she and I spoke about was about healing. This is healing. We're at my home in my yoni studio, and we're doing a yoni steam for those that don't know, right? So we are steaming our hoo-has. We're literally, we're literally steaming our hoo-has. And she's right. The whole weekend I was the best hostess. When she went in her guest bedroom, it was like a hotel. I had shit laid out for her, little writing notes, notepads, brand new, fresh soap, incense, because that is who I am. But again, like I stated in the beginning of this session, is that shortly as she came into my life, shortly I started to hear things, see things, and I'm like, I want to love upon her. I want to be a sister to her. But at this point, there's some things that I'm fundamentally opposed to. And it's no judgment. I'm not judging. It's just like, okay, maybe I need to take a fall back. Maybe we may not be, is what the Christians say, equally yoked. Right? But I would never diss Alana. I would be distanced at times. And when I felt okay, it's safe to have a conversation, I would entertain a conversation here and there. But for a minute, we haven't talked like we used to because it's too much. Even listening to the lives, Alana, you're a representative of this family. These people are already talking all around the world about this family. As now, as a bystander sitting back watching you all on these lives, and how you talking about Angie, you did. I just want to say this to you all, and you can not want to hear it now because you're feeling away. But if you're really true and mature in your spirit, Alana, I would pray that you can't hold no grudge against me for being honest with my comrades behind the scenes about the truths about that money, etc., etc. That's not. I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'll be like, yeah, I can't be mad because they was kicking it before I even came into the picture. They was the comment catchers, and if Alana went and shared that with Beth Owen and Shanette because I can't be mad like, yo, this is what it is. So, and and I even apologized to you Friday when we spoke. I was like, I didn't mean to hurt you by telling Shanette and Bethel what I know, what I knew about the fundraiser. I just was doing what I do. I seek counsel from what I thought would be confidants, and that wasn't the case. I would have I would have never done what Beth O did. I don't agree with all of that she did. I understand if she wanted her money back. I understand about wanting certain truths to be told, but the way just it's no. I think all of it, and even what you all are doing now, I think is deplorable. I think you all are not setting a good example for those that have been riding the Justice for Adriana bandwagon for as long as they have been, for those that have been fighting against HC, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's deplorable. So I don't want to linger, but I want people to know why Snap started to take a seat back. One of the other things that I think is important to see is during this time, and again, now we're talking about character, right? Character. We're talking about moral compass. A lot of things that I've seen on both sides with you and Angie, I just things I would never do. I would never. I just wouldn't do. One of those things is be on a live with someone who is okay with having someone in their life. Um, this Jennifer Alley person. Let me change this up. I want to show you all this. Hold on. Did I put the same one up? Let me see. Yeah, I put the same one up. So this is a, if you look at this, so apparently I need to go pull the other one, but just look at what it says. I said, I don't think straight. This voice note here in the green, that's a voice note that I left on the 21st of August. And I'm going to play it for you in a moment, but because I'm kind of going back and forth. But read it. It says, I don't think Strat's seen that video. And it says, nah, you ain't tripping, Queen. So a little context about that. Oh, before I take it off. I want you all to pay attention. Alana, look, you were in that box at the top. It doesn't show, but down here at the bottom, London's in this box. And you all were in this live, Shanette and Alana, where Jennifer Alley, the person who said justice for the Doubleday Hotel, F the little girl, F the teen. She called this child a teen. Now remember, this is Alana's blood cousin, not mine. And I'm sitting here devastated. Like, wait a minute. We entertaining? We're entertaining a woman who said what she said about Adriana, this baby. We've been fighting all this time for justice for Adriana. And now we're literally sitting, meaning you all. I'm thinking as a comment catcher, how can you all be sitting on a live and knowing that Jennifer Ali, the person who attacked this baby post mortem, being alive, like having a general conversation. I didn't attack Strats personally, but I surely wanted some answers. Like, somebody please help me understand, how is it okay for you all to be in this live with a woman that has totally disrespected this baby post mortem. Let me see if I can find it. I thought I had it in here. Bear with me, people, because it's been so much. It's been so much, and I'm trying to just make sure I account for everything. We've been in here almost an hour. I'm going to do my best to get out of here. Well, for whatever reasons, it's not letting me load the Voice note. Oh, it's showing that it was on it's in iTunes for some reason. In any event, no worries. We pivot. We pivot. So yeah, I played the voice note for I sent a voice note in the private
Okay,
chat.
so real quick, did I miss something? Because stress is okay with Jennifer Ali being in his chat. Mind you, I didn't forget what she said about Adriana. So Jennifer Ali, a woman who we have on recording saying justice for the Double J Hotel and F the little girl in the pool, F the little girl who told Adriana again. And it's okay. Like you know what? Let me back. This is why I need to back up because I have a problem with that, but it's okay. That's fine. No, it's not fun. Like, am I crazy for having a problem with that? Like, I would not. And he talking about, and when I was on my incognito, he muted me because I'm trying to tell them like, y'all shouldn't have Jennifer Ali in this chat. Is this where we at now? It's okay for people to say shit like that about the baby, and then people be cool with this woman. Am I tripping?
So I hope you all heard that because if you didn't, God, but that was the voice note because it was playing through iTunes. But that was the voice note where I'm like literally almost popping off like, yo, what are we doing here? Like, and nobody responded to me in that chat except for Morley's was like, nah, Queen, you're not tripping. Maybe Strats didn't know about Jennifer. And I'm thinking to myself, well, even if Strats didn't know London, Alana, why are you all in this box with that chicken? Like, are we not fighting for justice for Adriana? So again, I'm not passing judgment. I'm just letting you all understand why there were every day it was something more that added to the pile of me saying, let me back the fuck up. This is too much. This is too damn much. So we're gonna get out of here in a moment because I think I've shown enough as it pertains to how we got to where we are with the receipts and so forth. And then also let me take a moment to show you all this. So the this is the book that I kept. It shows the dates that people donated, it shows the amount. This is the people's names, and this is how they donated. And this Cash App right here, that was a mistake on me because Alana doesn't have Cash App. It was really Apple Pay. So this is the same, the Apple Pay and the Cash App. So this is the total amount that was raised, which was $1,038.51. Again, I can't see the bottom because of the trail thing. And you can see here what, each the broken down methods of payments, right? So the bulk of the money went directly to Alana via Zelle, and then the amount went to PayPal. Then we see um, let me see if I can see it, 360, 361, and we see the minus the 100, which was the first 100 that I spoke about, which came from the one of the first donations from a person via PayPal, and that was what you all saw when I showed you the 100 and the 217. That first 100 I sent right over to Alana, so the remaining was the 263.61. I sent her the 217 and some change, and then that left the 45.65 that needed to be replaced because Apple hit me with all of these fees that I was like, whoa, so so I needed to put that back in from my personal account. And by that point, when that last 45.65 needed to be what was going to be sent to Alana, by that point things had hit the fan. And you all heard the voice note. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have to speak. You all heard what I said to my sisters because I was feeling a way about some shit. And when we talk about, oh, she invited me to, I mean, I went to her house, et cetera, et cetera. I was really feeling a way like, so this is what you do. This is what you do. You just this is this is how you treat. So this is what you do. So it wasn't a fundraiser for anyway. What's understood doesn't have to be said. So this is the books for those that know wanted to know how the money was broken down. And again, like I said, I'm not here to bash any of them for that matter. I'm really not. I'm just here to make it be very clear that I was under the impression by Angie that things Things were not good. And I'm thinking Amisha and Sabrian want this money. And the night that we had that conversation, while Angie was basically giving an inquisition to Alana, when Alana asked, "Where's my cousin?" Angie said they were on the road. And that is the night that they were taking when, and we're going to get to, and we're going to wrap up from here. Amika, the sister, Amika Lewis. Amika Lewis was being taken back to New York to catch a flight, I believe, to go back to Guyana. And Sabrian, Amisha, and the friend Tisha that Amika Lewis spoke about on her live. This while they were on the road taking Amika to the airport, that intense conversation between Alana and Angie and Beth O and I were on the phone privy to all of this stuff that I believe we shouldn't have been privy to. Some of it, Beth O likes to be in the mix of that stuff, I feel. But me personally, I didn't want, yeah, yeah. So that was the night. So while they were on the road, Angie's telling Alana they're on the road, but the attorney wants this. The attorney that she said the attorney maybe like 20 times that night. It's a lot. It really was a lot. Um, so let's get to that just again for fact purposes, because one of the things um that Amika mentioned, and I think this is another good thing because I want people to know that both of the times that I spoke to Angie, the bulk of them, she reached out to me, and it wasn't a lot of times. Like I said, I can count on my fingers the number of times we spoke, and most of the times it was her calling to inform me about something or ask me about something, and more, and a few times I just had to gracefully bow out of the conversation because, like I told her, I don't want to be a part of these things. It's too much. So this is the um, voice note that Amika, a clip from Amika's live. And I think that this video is important to bring up because this is going to clarify a few things. And there's some things that are really important that happened on this particular phone call that I do want to address that I haven't directly addressed to Angie or Beth, though, because by that point, after it happened shortly after, I gracefully bowed out. But take a listen to this short clip, this short part of what Amika said about the phone call, and it validates a few things. If it lets me play it. Hold on, it looks like I'm having some technical difficulties. It won't let me put it on the broad screen. Let me try one more time. And this is one of those times where you just have to be patient. This isn't an instant gratification thing. Like you just got to ride this wave and pay attention and listen and make it make sense, right? If it doesn't come up on the screen, yeah, it's not letting me pull it up. Let me see if I can.
That's years and that's done and gone. Miss Camille called me. Me, she called me in the presence of a woman. When I know this thing at first, I listen to everybody lives. Does not allow me to stress. My grandmother of a brain aneurysm. My mom died of a brain aneurysm. My uncle died of a brain aneurysm. The surviving aunt and uncles all got high blood pressure. So
All right, so it finally let me put it up. I don't know if you all were able to hear it just then, but just to make sure that we hear it, let me bring it up on the stage and then I'll let you hear it from here.
Miss Camille called me. Amika, she called me in the presence of a woman. Well, I'm not this TikTok person and I don't listen to everybody's lives and I don't have the time. I tell people my bloodline does not allow me to stress. My grandmother died of a brain aneurysm. My mom died of a brain aneurysm. My uncle died of a brain aneurysm. The surviving aunt and uncles all got high blood pressure. So I don't, when I tell y'all don't send stuff to me and don't tag me in stuff, it's because I wouldn't listen to them and I wouldn't look at them. because y'all wouldn't help to contribute to my debt. You understand? So when she called with this woman from London and a nice young girl from America, and she said to me that Alana collected monies that she didn't account for. Well,
Quick pause for the cause, people. Quick pause for the cause. I want you all to be very intentional in when you're listening to how Amika Lewis, Amisha's big sister, spoke about the women that were on the phone when Angie called Sister Amika on August 25th. She said, "This woman from London," pay attention to how that was said. And she said, "This nice young lady from America." It's a reason why she said that. And we're going to talk about that reason why she said that in a moment. But I just wanted you all to pay close attention to what she just said and how she said it. See if I
from
can get
London
it
and
back.
a nice young girl from America, and she said to me that Alana collected monies that she didn't account for. Well, I don't really follow up the money story, so I thought she was referencing the GoFundMe. So I said to her, I said, she carry Nana car. She's this woman that like to carry on. So I said, so what's the issue? I said, Alana doesn't want to send it to you. I said, what is your next option? Your next option is to let your lawyer subpoena the records. But I said this to her too. I said, what does Amicia want? She want to hear what Amicia wants, you know. This whole thing is about her. This whole thing she's trying to make about her. I said, what does Amicia want to do? And I gave her this hypothetical situation. I said, for me, I said, Amicia didn't know anything about GoFundMe. I said, we know nothing about GoFundMe. I said, Alana volunteered to open the GoFundMe for Amicia. Remember, I told you, Alana and I we weren't speaking, you know. Lana and I weren't speaking. We ain't got no problem. We had the issue and that's it, and we done. But we ain't got no vibes. We ain't bickering up. We just done. So, um, when they GoFundMe, so I said to her, Miss Camille, I said, subpoena, if you want, there's the next option you can do subpoena, because she had mentioned it before. She ain't finished there. She ain't satisfied. She must want I rile up and carry on. She ain't satisfied with me telling her, okay, so she doesn't want to send it. Go and lay a lawyer subpoena. Ask her what Amicia wants. She don't want to listen to what Amicia wants. Amicia told her, she left. I gave her a hypothetical situation. I said, for me, if Alana had collected that money for me, and if it's $20 million she collect and she decides to take two, I said, for me, I said, me and about me, Sister Brian and anybody else, I said, for me, I would not have had a problem with that. That's what I told her. The next day, Sir Brian called me. Amika, what is the problem? I said, Sir Brian, me and know where's the problem. But I trying to figure it out. Anyway, she get on the Miss Camille Ruffner, got on the phone. We listened to her part. Alana this, Alana that, Alana this, Alana that, Alana that. We listened. So I said to myself, if you're going to speak about Alana, to myself, I said, let me add Alana to this call. Let Alana get to defend herself, or let her get to at least explain herself. So I added Alana to the call. When I added Alana to the call, Miss Camille had already explained. She explained everything. When Alana tried to tell her that the monies don't take out for Zelle, that they have to refund Amicia, this Miss Ruffner and her husband, have to refund Amicia $350 for some hotel thing. You know, these things that I know learning about, because I don't able to be in people business like that, you hear? She get off on the line, she start cussing. Guy needs to say cuss, use indecent language cussing. Well, if you know me, you will know that I will cut off my phone, because we listen to you. It is only fair that you listen to Alana and let her explain herself, or listen to me and let me explain myself. It is only fair. We gave you with everybody quiet when you were talking. Allow other persons to speak, but no. She jump and she gone and she gone. So I cut off the phone. I was the one who told Alana, I said, you don't need to send. I tell you, me and Alana ain't got no kind of, we're cousins, but it's not that we've been in contact. I told Alana, I said, you don't have to send her any records because she asked you to. This is a Missy and Sir Brian thing. You understand? I said, if you want to, you send it. If you don't want and she wants to use her lawyer to subpoena the records, then this ain't got nothing to do with you. I said, let her do that. You understand? So this.
So this is why I said people just sit tight because things will unfold and the truth will come out. And this is where I'm still my sister's keeper because I'm going to tell the truth. That phone call, everything that Sister Amika Lewis stated that I was privy to on that phone call on the 25th of August, she said it to the T verbatim. So I again, once again, just like the 21st, that night that Angie and Beth called me and we all wound up calling Alana, like we all came onto the line together. Basically, she did like a what we used to call back in the day a phone party. Um, the bulk of that conversation that night, Angie and Beth, spoke the majority of the time, and then it got, back and forth between Alana and Angie. And I'm not divulging everything because it was a lot, and some things just should not have been mentioned. While to, just it was a lot. And again, it's no judgment. I just, yeah, I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't do things that way. Same thing now as proof with this phone call on the 25th with Amika that was added. So this is what I'm going to say about that phone call because Alana, that phone call for me was it truly the pinnacle point of me saying, you know what, this is definitely not something I got to find a way to like back out of all of this because every time I hear something else, I just know that this shit, like I've always said, certain things family business. I don't want to do with nothing of this, none of this. So when I was, and again, not to divulge everything, but enough so you all know, when I was contacted about this phone call, again, it was about the Alana thing, and it was about them. It was about all the things that we had already gone over on the 21st. Throughout that conversation, when Beth O and Angie called me up and they're, telling me all of these things that's happening and revealing more things to me about family business, that I, what does that have to do with anything with me? But again, it had to do with the HC money because now trying to tie into monies with HC and the previous monies that was raised that I was unbeknownst to and that was supposed to be missing. I had to when I was able to, like Amika said, able to get a word in edgewise because for the first couple of minutes, it felt like forever, maybe 20 minutes. Angie was speaking. She was very verbose in her speaking, and Bethel would chime in to co-sign with her, whatever. So finally, I got a word in edgewise, and just like Amika asked the same question that I asked. Well, where is Amisha? What does Amisha feel? Because by this point, I'm realizing I'm hearing a lot of Angie, but what does Amisha have to say about this? Because at the end of the day, this is her and her husband's affairs. And she brought Amisha. She said she told Amisha to come and sit down. Amisha sat down on a sofa, and she turned to camera where we could see Amisha. So she once again starts talking. One of the things that I think is important to divulge about that conversation is something that made me cringe. And I'm speaking now as if I was speaking to Angie because I wanted to say that then to you directly, to Angie directly. But some people in this life, that, with alpha energy, you just know when to be like, some people are not going to take heed to sound word, even though they might say that, yeah, I want you to tell me when I'm wrong. I want you to tell me this. At the end of the day, some people don't, they like to always be what I consider to be in control of a situation. And I'm wise enough to know when it's appropriate or inappropriate to chime in and try to tell people what to do. Because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. But what I would have said if I would have been able to is to say to Angie, now this is a little too much. It's too much for Amisha. It was. And I sat back as a bystander on that first three-way call with us three. And then she added Amika Lewis to the call to try to get Amisha's sister to talk to her. And when I could finally get a word in edgewise on that conversation, this is exactly what I said. And I quote, I said, if I can, if you all give me a moment, if I can speak for a moment, it's two things that I think is important because I have been watching Amisha sit on that sofa. And as a mother, as a woman, I'm watching this grieving mother, and you could see all the pain. You could see I saw so many emotions over Amicia that broke my heart. And while Amisha's sitting here like sinking into a hole. And this is before I knew what Amika Lewis came online and said. So she confirmed what I discernment showed me about Amisha. Amisha. Oh, give me a second. Lost my shit. Um Angie's telling her like, no, you need to with your cousin. So she Angie was trying to get Amisha to like confront her cousin about the money and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And by this point, I'm like, I don't think that's what Amisha wants to do. This is what I'm looking at because Amisha, when she got a moment of speech, she's like, no, and she's basically, saying she's upset. She's like, I don't want to fight with nobody. I don't want to fight with my cousin. I don't want to. She didn't want to charge her cousin Alana. That was true. And Angie was like, "No, man, you got to put your big girl panties on." And Angie is really trying to direct her in how she should deal with it. And Beth O as well. It's like Amisha, and they're trying to have this conversation with her. And forgive me because I can't quote everything because by that point I kind of mentally checked out because I was like, "It's too fucking much. This is torture watching this." Me personally. So after that part, after I said, let me get a word in edgewise, I quote verbatim. I says two things that we need to consider here. First and foremost, Amisha, I apologize. I apologize to Amisha. I said, I could never imagine. But it's two things, ladies, we need to realize and we need to take account for is that Amisha has lost her child. Amisha is a grieving mother. We can't we she's grieving. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I quote verbatim, I said, Alana is her first cousin. Alana is her cousin. During the time that I was saying that, I could see in Angie, like Angie was sitting right beside her, just like they sat on the sofa on fire feelings that night. Angie, like, she crossed her hands and she's like, you could see she did not, I felt in my spirit, I don't want to speak for her, but I felt in my spirit, she did not approve of me trying to be the voice of reason, trying to serve as a devil's advocate to basically say, give Alana a little space. Like, don't be gentle with her. Once I made my peace, Angie, we were on that conversation. Angie came back on and she's like, no, it's not because you have to. And again, I can't remember because it got to the point I mentally checked out a little bit. Like I couldn't even hear everything because it's like nothing I just said mattered. There was no grace. So Angie, like, no, she needs to. If it were me, I would. And I'm like, oh gosh. So she says, let's call Amika. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's maybe call Amika the big sister. So Amika comes on the line. When Amika comes on the line, Angie went into the conversation like she does, and she spoke for quite an elongated time, is the way that I'll put it. And after she spoke to me again, which felt like 20 minutes or so, she felt she had, stated enough of her case. None of us spoke. Angie spoke. She said, and now basically, and I'm not quoting, I'm paraphrasing. She was like, okay, and Snap, you tell her, and she basically wanted me to tell her about the HC fundraiser. And as a woman who deals with people in interpersonal relationships all the time, I know that it was too much. Amika needed a moment. So I asked Amika, do you have what before any of that, do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to say? Amika smiled very gracefully and she nodded at me and she said, thank you for saying that because it was a lot. And this I'm quoting. Amika said it was a lot. And then Amika went into asking a few questions. I'm not going to get into all of that conversation, but I want you all to see the overall bubble of how Snap got to. I don't want anything to do with any of this because I keep being called, editing and stuff, all because all I wanted to do was help and be honest and transparent. And so throughout that conversation, when Amika spoke her piece, one of the things she did say, which is what you all heard her say, she said, what does Amicia want to do? And Amicia is when she could, as much as she could, she spoke about like she don't want no confrontation with her cousin. And then exactly what Amika said about, hey, basically, if somebody raised money for me and they raised 20 million for me and they keep back two, and she said, and this is my personal opinion. And I remember listening very astutely to the big sister of Amisha talking and her giving her input. And when she said what she said, I'm so thankful to the Most High that she went on a live and repeated what she said on the phone call, because that conversation too, and this is respect for Amika, because I actually love how Amika handles her stuff. I think she reminds me of myself in some cases, with in some cases, right? And I was like, okay, so now I'm understanding more that this is not Amisha and so Brian that's like rah 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 wanting to know every penny da, 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 da. But I was under the impression at that time when I said no, this is what happened with the money that I'm thinking there she's I'm thinking I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. But now as things unfolded more, I'm like, okay, so this is I don't think this is necessarily Amisha and her husband Sir Brian that's like rah 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 about where every single penny is going to. And that's the part that I was remiss at myself about. And I'm being very honest. And this is what, I basically stated to Alana in so many words on Friday when we spoke. And I apologize. I apologize to Alana if she felt I shouldn't have shared with the sisters about the truth about the fundraising money for HC, but I only apologize to her because it might have hurt her. But I'm not apologizing for what I did, because I will always cover my ass and always have a trail record to make sure ones. And when it comes to money, especially that's not my money, and there are people involved that's donated money, no, I'm going to have accountability because those people work too hard for their money. And I have to, as a liaison, as a conduit, cover my ass when it has nothing to do with me. And that's just sadly, that's the sad truth where we are right now. And this is why I've been quiet for so fucking long. I've been sick to my stomach, because all of this is too much and it's hurting. I'm devastated by Beth O, in the comment catchers. I'm devastated by London. Not like I'm devastated by all of this shit. And as an empath and a holistic practitioner, I realize that this is not of my greatest and highest good. So with that being stated, I literally have made a conscious decision to say I want nothing to do with all of this. Let me leave this to you all to be on your live. Y'all can do all of that rubbish. I just want it to come to the light what happened to Adriana on the 23rd and the 24th of April, and to talk about the people that were involved, the lady in the gray outfit, the Wayne Leroy Smith, the Commander Mandel, the Commissioner Clinton Hifton, somebody Clinton, somebody Hifton, something, like all of these people that played a part, the boy in the red man. It's so much more that we could be talking about the facts of Adriana. So again, I'm not getting into all this hearsay about what has been stated on Carlotta's show. I don't want anything to do with any of that. What I wanted to do is clear my name about this money, do my best to not throw any of my sisters or my brethren Morley, under the bus. Keep everything behind closed doors, protect Amisha and Sabrian, a suffering mother and father, as best as I could. And this is why it was important for me to come on here and say all of this, because you all ain't spared no expense on my ass. And imagine this is the woman that stood as the face for you, for my sister to get this money up, to give to Sabrian, to give to AC. And here I am, and even having like it's too much. Angie is a woman that she will go and she will share a lot. I'm not that type of woman. And I wasn't going to shun her at first because she's family and I want to honor the family. But you get to a point where you have to have boundaries and protect yourself and your mental well being. Now I'm going to show these last two clips and then we're going to get the freak out of here and I'm going to close out with a statement I want you all to see. So this right here, I'm sorry, I pulled up the wrong one. First, let me remove this. I think it's important to show this before we get out of here. So this is from that phone. This is the phone call, the second to the last phone call that I got from Angie after the one on the 21st, where all four of us, she called all of us about, giving the inquisition to Alana about the money and saying subpoenas and court and so forth. The other time was the 25th of August when she called and it was her, me, Beth O, Amisha, and Amika. Again, both phone calls I'm privy to, but a lot of that information I didn't need to be a part of. I'm not family, right? And I kept that quiet. I kept it quiet until now. And only now I'm bringing this part up because Amika, the auntie, Amika Lewis already did a live and she said exactly the things that I've been wanting to say, which is if Amika, and Alana have an understanding about monies or whatever, who the hell are we to be vexed about monies? That's just how I freaking feel. And I'm being so real about that. And that's where another part of me had to sit back and be like, damn, I was feeling the way about Alana because all of this, but this blood family on the maternal side, they have some form of understanding. So you know what? Hey, if they like it, I love it. That is on them. I did my part to show the family I am for you all in solidarity. What do you need for me to do? So this, as you see on August 28th, is the last phone call that I received. And it was literally, you look, one, two, three, four, five people on the phone call. 8:56 in the morning, people. If you see, for me, it was 11 minutes and 43 seconds, and maybe six of those minutes Angie wasn't on the phone. She was handling some affairs. So I'm sitting here waking up, getting the cold out my eye, walking downstairs because I'm seeing like fire feelings. Angie, what the hell is going on? What's going on? I finally answered, and I didn't show the other part, but I had missed some calls from her prior to that because I just wasn't in a space to talk to anybody. So this day, I'm bringing this up for a reason to say that I more than a few times got phone calls where I was added into conversations, and some of them, and I say this again respectfully, not attacking anybody, I just I don't want to be a part of it. I really didn't. I wanted to speak my truth when I was asked about the fundraiser money, and that be fucking that. So I'm showing you all this. So those 11 minutes, I'm coming downstairs, I'm washing dishes. Beth is like, snap is so much. Angie's like, oh, it's so much. Hold on, you guys. I'm taking care of something with my father. I think it's father-in-law. Something, it was a doctor's appointment. So I'm sitting here washing dishes, getting coal out my eye. Like, okay, well, what's going? What? And I truly don't remember whatever it was when Beth was trying to explain it to me because by that point I was over it. Even with my sister, what I thought was my sister and Beth, because I'm like, you two in it. This is a lot of this is family business. You can't be this emotionally involved in family business. Don't stay out of that. Stay the fuck out of it. Like sincerely, stay out of it. So when I realized, okay, so this don't have nothing to do with verifying anything with me, like with the AC fundraiser, and Fire's like, no, and Beth's like, no. I'm like, okay, light and love, blessings to you all. I am going to gracefully bow out of this conversation. That's when we hit the 11-minute mark because I had been waiting for like 6 to 7 minutes to figure out, well, what are we doing? Because Angie's like, hold on, she's coming. Beth is kind of like trying to fill in and fill gaps. And then as I realized, the more she talked, I'm like, so this ain't really got shit to do with me. Okay, you know what? Blessings, y'all. Light and love, y'all. I love you all. Blessings. I didn't say I love you all, but I was like, light and love, blessings. Later. All right, that was the last time I spoke in a good way with Beth. Oh, and I don't talk to Fire, which again, that's why I was like, when I saw the phone call, I said, what the fuck is going on? Very last phone conversation that I had with Angie, and here's the proof, was the day of Beth O's live, which I had heard through the grapevine, because of course I hear things, that Beth and Angie's getting ready to do a tell all, and I'm just over in my little corner, like the fuck is going on? Like, how did we get here? Right? So September the 1st, you see 2:47 p.m. Apparently they went live at 3 o'clock. Now before this 2:47, Angie had called me earlier that morning, and I didn't answer because I was preoccupied, and I got anxiety at that point when I saw Sister Angie call, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is it about to be now? I don't want nothing else to do with nothing. I just don't want to. God, what is it about to be? Not thinking nothing about no live or shit like that. But then when the phone call, when she called me back and I finally answered, because I'm like, I can't keep ignoring her. And she started her conversation. And as she started the conversation, it ding light bulb. I was like, oh wait, that's today's supposed to be. They're supposed to be a tell-all. And then shortly after, I realized that she was kind of leading up to her question that she was going to ask me. I said to her, I interjected. I said, "Go, let me. I know what you're about to ask me. I'm quite sure I know what you're about to ask me, but let me just see if I'm right. Go ahead, keep talking." And sure enough, she was like, she was going on a live, et cetera, et cetera. Don't remember all the words because, like I said, at that point, I started to mentally check out to all of the white noise. She said, "Would I come up in the box?" And I gracefully told her, "No, I'm not. I can't. I won't do that. I'm not coming in a box to air out any family. I don't agree with that." But she was talking about the money also. I said, "But what I will do is if the money part comes up about the fact that, people donated and the money was sent to Alana so that these people know that, hey, everything should be on the above par, above board. I'll validate that information in the comments, and I'll validate when the money was sent." That's just business. That's business. So this conversation literally happened 13 minutes before Beth O went live. Now, mind you, I didn't know everything that was going to be said in that live. And I believe for the first 10 minutes or so, I wasn't in the live because when she told me what time I was doing something. So I wasn't in the live. And then people, of course, kept sending it to me saying, like, Snap, Angie's on the live and she keeps saying if Snap is in here, she can vouch for it. And I was like, okay, shit, I didn't want to, but I was like, let me go in the comments. Let me just if it's something I need to validate for accuracy purposes. Because a lot of times all of them don't give accurate accounts of stuff because they get too in their emotions, right? So when I go in the live, I'm in the comments field and the money part is brought up. Now there were a few statements that Angie made that wasn't true. She was like, "Yes, Snap. I think Snap was on the call, and I wasn't on some of those calls she talked about because sadly, and this is no disrespect to Angie, but Angie doesn't remember everybody she speaks to because she talks to a lot of people. So in a couple of times, twice that I heard, and she was like, I was on a call. She was like, I think Snap was on a call, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I wasn't on that call. I wasn't, and that's why I keep records of everything. So I just want you all to know that for you all that have talked about me like a dog, I'm nobody's snake. By far, I'm the person you want on your team. Even the fact that, even to the point where I'll take the brunt of shit for other people when I'm not the one that's guilty or wrong because I'm strong enough to do that. And I am my sister and brother's keeper. And Alana, I wish that you and I could have honest conversations at this point. And then when we talked the other day, and I told you, it's like, I didn't want to talk to you for a minute because when I said, let me be careful how I word that, when I was like, I just needed a minute. And I was like, I didn't want to be lied to by anybody. And you was like, I know how you felt, but I was just at a point. I don't know who to trust at this point. And what I've seen and heard thus far, it's a sign from the universe for me to gracefully bow out of everything with everybody. And with Shanette, like the fuck out of here, Shanette. Oh, girl, it's so much more in life that's bigger than being on TikTok every day on lives doing all of this. And this is how I say, and for all of you that was in those boxes with her, the Kenzino's mom, Y Pre. I remember everybody, all y'all, Ina. Oh, that's a girl. Like, you all don't know what sisterhood truly is. You really don't. And I really pray that you all get some some perspective, some perspective and have some introspection about your life and your purpose, and hearing how you all instigated with buying dreams and strats today. It's hurtful. And mental health is real. Imagine I wasn't a woman that had a mental fortitude where I could deal with this type of slander and defamation. And there's many conversations as we've had about other people. Ginger Gemini, I've come in your message, a few times to check on you, check on your well being, check on how's your spirit, encourage you. Like I've been nothing but encouraging. Am I human? Am I have a fucking human experience? Like I was like you heard the messages with Bethel and I was pissed off about Alana thinking like, so Alana using me? Like the fuck out of here. I'm human. But I do that behind closed doors. And it should be in a safe space where I can let my hair down and not always have to be so stoic. Because I'm not always stoic. Because I'm fucking human, right? But at the end of the day, my mother raised me when I'm out in the public. I'm going to represent myself, my family, my community, my children with pride and with dignity as much as I can. But don't get it twisted. Like I've always said, I can get gully. And you've all heard some of the messages when I was pissed off. But that doesn't mean the love isn't there. I'm just mad about some things, like you all heard. Like I don't want to be used by anybody. And I don't like manipulators. I don't like people that use scenarios to manipulate situations to their advantage. I don't like that at all. So, on that note, I pray you all who all have stayed here, you got what you needed. Go back and replay stuff if you need to. If you have questions, please respectfully drop them in the chat. I don't have a problem answering more because it's so much to uncover, but I was trying to make sure I say very matter of fact and to the point. All of the other stuff it's just white noise. The key talking points needed to be spoken about. And for all you with this new loyalty, I just again can't say enough. What would you have done if you were the representative of money that didn't belong to you and you were asked by the appointed family member about receipts and what happened? And again, remember, I was on that phone call that night, Alana, Bethel, and Angie, and heard what was said, which that one thing that was said when asked about the amount of the money that was raised, that threw me back. And that is why I believe in my heart of hearts more than anything. Bethel wanted me to come out and say that, but I still won't do that because that's up for the person who knows the truth to speak that truth. That's not for me to carry that on for them. So that is that. I hope you all got what you finally wanted and needed. Now I'm about to get back to my family. I'm about to sip my wine and mind my business. And I'm not coming back and revisiting it so y'all could talk about. Y'all can do all them things on TikTok. Y'all can play every receipt. I don't care. I'm going back to my higher self, and we still want justice for Adriana Young. People, you need to get back to the conversations of what is happening to the people that was there on the 23rd and the 24th that played a part in it. Keep those conversations going. All of this other stuff makes us as people on a world stage look bad. Alana and Angie, you both are supposed to be representatives of the family. And everything that I'm hearing, if I was someone that didn't know you all and is listening to this, yeah, it doesn't look good. It's very distasteful. So let us be better as human beings, people. Snap Ministry, I'm freaking out. Blessings. Tired as hell. It's too much.